I didn't realize I was being pulled into something dangerous until I was already telling the story in my head like it was a romance instead of a warning. It started with a message I shouldn't have answered. Her name was Lila. She said she got my number from a mutual friend, which I later found out was a lie. The first thing she texted was simple. "You look like someone who doesn't sleep much." Me neither. I remember laughing. I remember replying. That was the first mistake. We met 3 days later at a small coffee place near the edge of downtown. She showed up late, like she wanted to test if I'd stay. She wore a plain black hoodie and didn't look like the kind of person who tried to stand out. That's what made her stand out. She didn't do small talk the normal way. She asked questions that felt too specific for a first meeting. "What's the worst thing you've ever done that no one knows about?" I joked, and said I parked illegally in front of a fire hydrant once. She didn't smile. "I mean something real," she said. And then she took a sip of her coffee like she already knew I wouldn't answer honestly. Over the next week, she became a constant. Texts at odd hours, short calls that ended with silence instead of goodbye. She never talked much about herself. When I asked where she worked, she said freelance. When I asked where she lived, she changed the subject, but she remembered everything about me. My schedule, my coffee order, the fact that I check my locks twice before bed. That last one bothered me. I never told her that. 2 weeks in, I started noticing things that didn't fit. I'd get a text from her saying she was near my place, but when I looked outside, I never saw her. Once I left my apartment early in the morning and saw her sitting across the street in a parked car. She waved. When I walked over, the car was empty. I told myself I was imagining things, stress, lack of sleep. But then my neighbor, Mrs. Calder, knocked on my door. She was shaking. "She was asking about you," she said. "Who?" "The girl. Said she was your girlfriend. Wanted to know your routine, what time you leave, when you come home." I told her it was probably a misunderstanding, but Mrs. Calder didn't look convinced. Neither was I. That night, I confronted Lila. "You don't know my neighbors," I said. "Don't talk to them." She didn't deny it. Instead, she said, "I just wanted to understand your world better." That should have been the moment I walked away. Instead, I asked her to come over. The relationship escalated fast after that, not in a healthy way, in a consuming way. She'd show up without warning. Sometimes she'd already be inside my apartment when I got home. "I used the spare key," she said once, like it was normal. "I didn't give you a spare key." "You didn't have to." That was the first time I felt afraid of her, but I still didn't leave. And the first death happened 3 weeks later. A man named Jonah Pierce, late 30s, worked at a gym near my apartment. I only knew him because he once helped me fix a flat tire. Police said it was a break-in gone wrong. No forced entry, no clear motive, just a quiet apartment and a body found in the hallway. And something strange. His phone was wiped, completely clean. Lila didn't act surprised when I told her. She just said, "People disappear all the time. You just don't notice until it's close to you." Then she added, almost casually, "Did you know him well?" I said no, but she watched me like she didn't believe me. After that, things got worse. She started asking me to delete messages. Not hers specifically, just all of them. "Digital footprints make people careless," she said. She began controlling small things. What I wore when I went out. Which friends I saw. If I hesitated, she'd go quiet for hours. And that silence felt heavier than any argument. Then came the second death. My co-worker Marcus. He was found in his car in a parking garage downtown. Cause of death, carbon monoxide poisoning. Police called it accidental at first, but Marcus didn't smoke. He hated being in enclosed spaces with the engine running. And the garage security footage had a gap. Exactly 17 minutes missing. That night, I asked Lila if she had anything to do with it. She didn't even flinch. Instead, she came closer and said, "You're starting to think like them now." "Like who?" "The people who don't understand you." I told her Marcus was dead. She nodded slowly, then said, "And yet you're still here." That's when I started recording everything. Hidden voice memos, screenshots, notes. I didn't know what I was building a case for yet. I just knew I needed proof that I wasn't losing my mind, Because every time I looked at her, I couldn't tell if I was in love or being rewritten. The turning point came on a rainy Thursday. I came home early and heard her on the phone in my bedroom. Her voice was different, colder. "It's getting messy," she said. "He's noticing things." A pause, then, "No, not yet. He still trusts me." Silence. Then she smiled. "I'll handle it." I backed away from the door so fast I knocked a frame off the wall. She hung up before I could leave. When I turned, she was already behind me. "You shouldn't listen to things that aren't meant for you," she said. For the first time, I raised my voice. "Who are you talking to?" She studied me for a long time. Then she said something I'll never forget. "My sister." I didn't even know she had one. That night, I went through her bag while she showered. I found nothing at first, then a small notebook. Inside were names: Jonah Pierce, Marcus Hale, Mrs. Calder, and my name at the bottom. Under it, attachment forming. Unstable. My hands went cold, and then I heard the water stop. I didn't run. I stayed seated on the bed like my body forgot how to move. When she came out, she looked at me and already knew. "You weren't supposed to see that," she said quietly. I asked her what it was. She sat next to me like we were having a normal conversation. "They were experiments," she said. "Experiments for what?" She tilted her head. "For you." That's when everything fractured. She explained it like it was simple. She had been mapping influence patterns, seeing how people around me reacted when pressure was applied. Jonah had been too close. Marcus had observed too much. Mrs. Calder had interfered. I asked her who actually killed them. She didn't answer directly. She just said, "People do a lot of things when they think they're protecting someone." I left that night, or I tried to. She didn't stop me physically. She just said, "If you walk out, you won't understand what comes next." And I remember pausing, because part of me believed her. That was the real problem. The police came to my apartment 2 days later. I had finally sent them everything. The recordings, the notebook photos, the messages. But when they searched her name, nothing came back. No record of Lila, no ID, no address, nothing. Just silence in the system where a person should have been. Then they showed me something worse. Jonah Pierce's apartment had been broken into. The security footage that was missing during Marcus's death, it matched the timestamp of Jonah's break-in. Same shadow, same figure, same hoodie. My hoodie. That's when I understood what she had done. She never needed to kill anyone herself. She just needed me near the scene, close enough to be blamed, close enough to be believed. They arrested me that night. I kept telling them about her, about Lila, about the notebook. But every time they checked, she didn't exist. No fingerprints, no trace. Just me, and 3 dead people. I've been writing this from a holding cell. They say I'll get a psychiatric evaluation. They say I was under severe delusion. But I know what I saw, I know who touched my life, and I know what she said the last time I saw her. Because as they took me away, she was standing outside the station, watching, and she mouthed one sentence through the glass. "You still only see what I let you see." They say love can make you blind, but nobody tells you what happens when it starts looking back at you.